Hi everyone, this is Chris Brazel.
Hey.
Oh, you got the wave.
I did.
That's cool.
Wow.
I've never had anyone do the wave.
No accident.
He's on the... All right, today I'm with Tim. He's an awesome guy. He actually now knows how awesome he is. What was your first impression when you were told you had to come and meet Chris Brazel?
Well, my partner invited me to a workshop with Chris, and I don't mind saying I was quite cynical.
You can be cynical.
In the early days, and I went along, and I was made to feel welcome. It was all very comfortable. I was doing all sorts of things I'd never done before, bouncing balls off car park walls, chasing them afterwards because I wasn't terribly good at it at first, painting.
Yeah, you did an awesome piece of artwork.
Yeah,
you took your time and you did it all perfect. And
and lots of frank discussions. So it was grounding and a lot of fun.
So virtually, when I first started to work with Tim on the journey, you've sold one house, then you bought a unit, then you sold the unit.
Yeah.
Then I loved it where you couldn't sell your trailer? You reckon, or told me you couldn't sell it?
I was hesitating to sell it because it was a long story, but it was a trailer I had built and designed for the purposes of working at a market at Redcliffe, and I'd ceased doing that market, but for some reason I had this attachment to the trailer that I didn't need anymore, and it was kind of blocking me because I needed somewhere to store the trailer.
Oh, you had lovely stories.
So
everyone has stories. You had a really good story about the trailer. And
yeah.
But then we discussed it, But it's like what I say to other people, when you make a change and you let something go, it can be blocking you. You have moved from the position you were in, the company you were working with, after that trailer went. You're now, and I remember that you ringing up saying you were going to go for this new job, and it was like, oh yeah. And then about your application and what was in the application, and then it was the worry about the interview.
Mm.
And then you kind of were downplaying a lot until you told me, you listen to where he's been. Like,
well,
let's hit it.
I was self-doubting. Even my boss at the time said, listen, you don't back yourself and all that sort of stuff. But anyway, so I thought I'll give Chris a call because I really need this. I want this role, but I really would like to put some effort in and get some help to achieve that goal. So I called Chris and I said, listen, I'm not sure that I'm really qualified to do this. It's beyond me. And she said, okay, so what have you done in the past? I said, this, that. And then I said, well, I was the Australian ambassador to the International Colour Gemstone Association and the vice president of the Australian Opal and Gemstone Association. And Chris leaned in and she's gone, you what? Anyway, she said, well, I think there's you're qualified. So anyway, to cut a long story short, I made some quick notes and I went to the interview and I sat down and my leading line was, I'm an industry leader with unparalleled experience and knowledge and so on and so forth. And at that point, the gentleman that was interviewing me leaned in and I got the job.
Yeah, so, and you moved in pretty quickly and everything, didn't you?
Very, very quickly, very quickly. In fact, since I've met Chris, everything has happened at lightning bolt speed. In fact, we talked about that session we did at the beginning of the year where I was painting and bouncing balls and all that sort of stuff. And my goal at that point was to sell my apartment at the time, and I needed top dollar, as everyone does. I think it was 48 hours.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
48 hours later, I had a cash buyer, unconditional.
Who wanted the furniture as well, didn't they?
Took the furniture that I had nowhere to store and had no use for. another 24 hours after that, I had sold the trailer to a work colleague who needed it for a totally different venture. And I think it was 10 days after that, I started my new role.
I know, it's pretty cool. You have to come to one of my retreats.
If I wasn't there, I wouldn't have believed it myself.
Yeah, the moment you move an energy, the quickest one I've ever had is an hour to a whole new job, career, and that was over just a lunch thing, a lunch appointment that she went to, and by the time she finished lunch, she had a new job, a new career. But that's just energy. Everything in your life is energy, whether it's money, whether it's a job, whether it's furniture, it doesn't matter what it is, it's an energy. And all I do is get you to understand how your brain works with the brain codes, and then I just give you the action steps and colours that link to your brain code, and then you've opened the vault. Virtually, you open the vault.
Yep.
Easy. Yep. Just come, I'll give you the code. You know how you turn a switch on a safe, and it goes one way here, one way there? That's virtually all I do, is turn the switch on your safe, give you the keys, in you go into the vault in the next minute. So, if you're out there and you are stuck, get in touch or watch one of my new TV channels or my TV show coming up, because you never stay stuck when you can come and meet Chris Brazel, bounce the ball, wear some colour, write some affirmations, sell something. You might have to sell something, but at the end of the day, you get a new life. So this is me out, and
thank you for listening.
And where's your wave?
Oh.
Thanks, everyone. Cheers.
Take care.
For now.
Bye-bye.
Okay.